Today is Monday, March 16th. No, wait, we gotta go back in time. Today is, whatever day on February 3rd, 2026, 7:36 a.m., and I'm out at a school, and they have a Promethean board that's not turning on, and so I go and I apologize for the vertical filming. I just wasn't thinking that this would be important enough to show you, but anyway, back to the story. The board doesn't turn on. It does. What does it do? Who knows? It does that. It just flashes the Promethean logo and then it goes off. And, well, that means the board is broken. I do some more testing here, but basically I come to the conclusion that the backlight is no longer functional. And, you know, we had a spare board, so we put it in place. But, you know, I got to thinking, you know, this is a 7-year-old board. It's the Promethean 7 with the Android whatever stuff inside. You know, it'd be nice to have a spare board, and I figured, all right, I'm taking apart a active panel 7 from like 6 or so years ago. The backlight's dead. Figured I'd just show you what I'm doing before I got too deep into it. So I zipped out all the screws around there to take that off. Took out that plastic filler panel, little Wi-Fi module, and I took off these end caps. And now I'm going for this piece next. I think I've removed all the screws. No, haven't. Zutolo, I missed one. So now, there we go. So now we can see, got some speakers. There's the display assembly. Here's the power supply. So I tried testing the LEDs directly. This is the LED output from the power supply of the board. Hopefully this is good. I don't have a way of testing its output, but it's not staying on, and I'm thinking that's because the backlight just flips and turns off. Maybe I have a video of that. I'm not sure. But I was advised to buy one of these little guys, a TD2B LED tester, because the LEDs are in series. They're big, long strips. I don't know how many there are, but it was outputting 300 volts, and that makes sense if they're all in series. And the problem is probably that one or more of the LEDs has gone bad, and either the chain doesn't go past voltage anymore, or the way that it works, it's going to cause more of them to blow out. Whatever the scenario is, this thing probably has some protection circuit in there, or is failing and not giving any voltage anymore. No smoke, no anything. It just stopped working one day. So I think my next step is figure out how deep I need to get into there to be able to remove the backlight. And I think it's going to be behind door number 1, this metal panel. So I think what I'm going to have to do is remove the touch circuits off of this board and any other stuff coming this way, and then I'm going to get another pair of hands to pull off this metal bracket, this whole metal sheet this way. Okay, I got some help. It separates into 2 pieces, the front glass panel and speakers, and I put it like that so it wouldn't collect dust, because I'm actually about to take off. And then here's the raw LCD on the back side of all the electronics and whatnot. It's got these aluminum channel on the edges. I'm going to try taking those off and see if the LEDs are close to the edge. No, the aluminum just covers up a plastic retaining bracket. So that tells me that this raw LCD panel needs to be removed in order to access the back of it, because there's no way to get, well, it's impossible to see, but just trust me when I say that there's no way to get to the back of the panel from the back side, so it has to be all through the front of the screen. Oh, nightmare. I had to disconnect all these connectors. Okay, looking at this again, got a hand taking the actual LCD panel, the raw LCD panel off. It's just got these little connectors along the edge. All of these little tape things also needed to be removed. Those are probably for keeping the static off of the electronic bits. Yeah, I was a lot more nervous about that last time. So now I just got to pop off all these plastic edges so I can get underneath and look. So now we can actually get a preview of what's going on, and you can kind of see the LEDs that are in there. So we'll see what we see when we get in there. Little bit of tape. I don't know what it does, but it's probably important. All right, and here we are. Got the LEDs. It looks like this is not going to be fun to actually access the LED panel behind because it's behind plastic, paper plastic, so it's probably going to rip. And I'm not going to be able to get a replacement one of these. But those are the LED strips. All right, and I only ripped it a little bit, but these are what the LED strips look like in here. So it's going to be, big arrays all down the thing. And here's the part number that's on this one for Promethean. It's a giant pain to get in here. All right, here's what it looks like to use this fancy testing tool. You just plug it in, and they slowly come up. So that LED strip is good, and all I did was plugged it in down this end and put on those two little dots. Which I can't quite line up with just one hand here. There we go. Yeah, all the lights come up, and I'm imagining I'm going to find one of these that doesn't work. Actually, that wasn't too bad to come off. It was a little sticky, but once it started to come, it came off the whole thing. It did build up some static charge, so I felt it. I hope I don't touch anything that zaps anything. It's really just the electronics that are on the backside of the board and this display. So now I'm just going to go through each of these strips and find ones that don't work. Just again, looking at these numbers here, seeing if there's anything different. Yeah, they're all the same. They look to be the same part number. Okay, so got the probes. So again, this lights up this whole strip. But when I do this strip, it does not light up. But what I can do is I can light up each LED individually in sequence until I find the LED that does not work. Of course, it's the last LED. So that last one is not functional. And that means that this whole strip needs to be replaced, basically. I'm going to do that and mark the ones that are bad all the way down. Yeah, they all tested good. It was just that one LED strip. So I think I'm just going to unplug the one. Okay, well, these are on big, thick aluminum strips, and they are impossible to get up off of the tape. Yeah, that's going back in there. The little light diffusers popped off. Yeah, but part's out, and if I get a new one, I can put it in. Let's see if that happens. Okay, I made my life a lot harder than it needed to be. I thought I needed to take this out so that I could get a whole replacement. Turns out finding the actual replacements are a little bit difficult. More than likely, you're just going to find these little patch panels, which are small strings of strips that break off with the intention that you replace just the LED that's bad. So I could have just replaced one. Now I have to string together a whole bunch. And as I took this out, I broke even more because this is aluminum and it was held on by tape and it bent all over the place. So don't do what I did. I'm going to put it back together. I'm going to solder these on. These are little LEDs that have 2 pins, a plus and a negative. And I'm going to wire it up with the included wire. And if it doesn't work, I bought a replacement board. So just recap, by having taken this out, I have ruined more LEDs. So this one works, and this one works somehow. So those still work, but the other ones I broke. So I'm going to replace those. And I figured I might as well just wire these up because I'm in here. They work now, but I did mess with the rest of the strip, so I should probably just replace them all. And our test. Now that's interesting. Why is that LED slow to come on? Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and replace that one. If it was not clear, these are wired in series. So they go from one to the next. And then when I get all the way to the end of the strip, I'm plugging that into what I assume is the ground. And that's how I'm picking up down here, because it's at the end of the strip. So I'm going to replace this number 3 LED. That seems a little slow. And then I have to wait till tomorrow when I bring in some double-sided tape so I could actually put this all back together, because I don't have any double-sided tape here. And I don't want them flapping around and flipping over inside the TV. This is a kind of this is something you do at home. You shouldn't trust this level of jankiness to production ready things. So this is just going to be a spare for us. It was a fun project. I have one concern. When I light up any random strip, this tells me how much voltage is being used by these LEDs. And my LEDs are different. So this LED strip uses 33 volts. And that works just fine. My little chunky LEDs, it's hard to do with one hand. The whole strip only uses 15.5 volts. So I don't know how the power supply in this thing works. I can only assume that we have no choice. We're just going to have to go for it and see what happens. Right? All right, we're in the final countdown. I got some VHB tape, which I brought from home. And I put this back on. I just used some double-sided sticky glue tape to do this to the sticky bits, make them more sticky again. There. Now we're basically done. We're just reapplying the sticky bits. Super precise sticky bit adhesion policies. Yeah, I just put some tape underneath each of these, lined them up on the holes, and you know, they kind of line up. Good enough. Good enough for seeing if this is gonna work. I hope they light up. Okay, the magical black edges are back on, and now we're ready to put back on the diffuser panel, and then I'll get a hand putting the LCD panel back on, and then it'll be the glass and whatever random miscellaneous electronics need to be reconnected, and then we'll do the test. Oops, order of operations. The black pieces are supposed to be on the top, so I have to take the black pieces off again. This is the disadvantage of doing a project like this over more than a day. If you can do this all at once, that's ideal, because then you'll remember how it all goes back together a lot easier. And that's that. So now I put the aluminum bits back on, I connect up the electronics, and we go from there. The aluminum bits will physically retain the screen the raw panel, and then the electronical bits are reconnected underneath here from those ribbon cables, which I may not actually be able to reach until I get this flipped back up over, but I have to be able to close this from the bottom. Yeah, there we go. Okay, put it back together. Now it's just a matter of wiring up the electronicals and hoping for success, I guess. And only a few spare screws. Yes! Okay. It's not perfect, I can already tell, but it is functional. Yeah, I can see hot spots on the screen where the LEDs were in because the diffusers are different. But it works. And the touch even works. Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Wow.
I feel so conflicted about if this was worth the effort. It was all about that Leopleurodon, and that Triceratops, and that pterodactyl.
Leopleurodon?
Yeah, that's a Leopleurodon. His name is Charlie. Okay, to recap, this whole project cost $8 for the pack of LEDs. I've seen them anywhere between $8 and $20 for a cheap small pack. The tester was like $15 to $18, something like that. And then it was probably 2 to 3 hours of time taking it all apart, put it back together, spread across 3 weeks. Don't necessarily recommend, but you can do it if you want to, and it should work. Subscribe. Yeah.